This week on Dumb Pitches, my guest is Andie Main. She's got a new album out, and we're going to talk about the worst decision she feels she's ever made. It has to do with a dog and being sober, but still being a dry drunk. You'll have to learn what that is. It's a great episode. Here we go, Dumb Pitches.
What a bunch of dumb pitches. Oh my goodness.
Welcome to another episode of Dumb Pitches with Monica Nevi. I'm Monica Nevi, your host. This is the show where we talk to successful people about their worst ideas. So excited to have our guest this week. Andie Main is here. Thank you for being here, Andie.
Hey, Monica. Thank you for having me. Cheers.
Yes, cheers. Cheers to a no sugar,
Cheers to
no
being
alcohol
stupid.
beverage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. Well, we've known each other for actually quite a while because you used to be up here in the Pacific Northwest in the Portland area, which is, the same as Seattle, basically.
Yeah, just 3 hours. That doesn't matter, though.
No, nothing has changed in that 3 hours, so it's all good.
Yeah, it's just Doug firs and clouds. It's cool.
Yeah, and then now you're in Denver area. You
I'm
have
in
been
Denver.
for a while. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But,
I made it. I lasted 5 years here, and I am about to move to New York in hopefully 30 days. We'll see how it goes.
Wow, that's exciting. Oh, do we hear it first here?
Actually, I
That's
think
exciting.
as far as podcasts go, this is the official podcast-related announcement.
This is the
New York,
official
here I
podcast.
come.
All right,
Yeah.
which is great because moving stories can sometimes be great ideas or bad ideas. We love it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I
Well,
hope
but
I get to
moving-
come on the podcast in 5 years and be like, Monica, why didn't you tell me?
Well, it seems like the move to Denver has been successful, so hopefully the same thing for
Yeah,
York,
I
we'll
think
see.
so. Like, I moved to Denver in sort of like I've been really reflective because I just took off all the art off my walls last night, and that put me in a really like melancholy state. My house is like in disrepair and everything as I'm getting ready, but just made me think about I was such a dumbass when I moved here like 5 years ago. I just didn't have enough life experience and like wisdom, and I was really drunk all the time too. And during the 5 years that I moved here, like I got healthy and I got sober. And now, like when you're on the other side of that coin, and you look back at like your previous drunk life, there's just a lot of like bad ideas that I've had.
Oh, that's
So,
that's perfect.
perfect for your podcast.
Yes.
But the worst choices I've made in my life have been in sobriety as well. Like getting sober doesn't help you with bad ideas. It just makes it so that you're more aware that it's a bad idea while you're doing it.
That is a great summary of that. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I do think some people when they get sober are hoping like, okay, this is going to fix everything. Like this was the main problem. It's done. So now everything's going to be smooth sailing. And I
literally
often
thought
heard,
that.
yeah, that's not quite how it goes. And that's
No.
probably the awareness because you're like, oh, that part was just me. That wasn't the drinking shit.
Yeah.
Great.
There's a term called dry drunk, and
Oh.
that's when you are able to be as much of a disaster sober as you were as an alcoholic.
Wow.
And it's real.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've never heard that. Dry drunk. That's amazing.
Dry drunk.
I mean, not
Yeah.
amazing, but I love a good term,
Why did I get a thumbs up from that? Did you do that?
No, Blake did, but apparently he liked that. Or maybe is it the one that like can tell? Anyways, doesn't matter. He liked dry drunk, I guess. That's funny. He used to be closer in the room so you could hear him laugh, and now I can just hear him and you can't. But you're doing great, basically, is what that means, I think.
Oh, good. I'm still performing for little dopamine kicks
Yes,
that happen
just
in the
like
video. Good.
just like Zoom shows. Great.
Excellent.
Okay, well, but it sounds like you have lots of bad ideas, which is great. But we, oh, is it okay? There is a setting on Zoom that like, Yeah, it's your thumb.
Isn't
You're
that
doing a
my
thumbs up.
thumb?
Yeah, so it reads it. It's weird. I was on a podcast before and it was doing that. Actually, no, I wasn't. Oh, Blake's dying laughing now. That was great. Fireworks and stuff. That was weird. Good. This is the rest of the podcast. Seeing what.
This is not good if you speak in sign language. I'm just gonna say.
That's true.
They didn't
It's
figure this
gonna
out.
be very distracting to have an interpreter on a Zoom call that's just going off left and right. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Okay, well, we learned something new.
Sure did.
Okay, before we get into the bad ideas, we do like to talk about the fact that you have had good ideas, and so you're a hilarious stand-up comedian. Obviously, some of these moves have been good, but then also you had an album just come out, Rocky Mountain By. It's available now. I'm assuming everywhere, iTunes and all that.
Every
stuff.
single place you could think of, it's there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got. I mean, yeah. Just because.
Yeah, Rocky Mountain By. I came up with the name of it for like a year ago while I was hiking, and it just popped in my head, and I'm like, let's put a little check mark by that and see if I can make an album happen. And I just had like. I've been in Denver for about 4 years at that point, and including the pandemic too. That was a part of my time here, and it just felt like I had generated enough material about the city I was living in, and like my current situation, so that I could make like every time I make an album, I think of it as a time capsule of that specific moment in my life, because all of my stuff is so personal anyway, and so. Like the first album, Magpie, that I put that one out right when I moved to Denver. And so that was like the first 8 years of my comedy life.
Yeah.
And then this one is the next 4 years. And I don't know. I don't want to make an album about moving to New York. I don't know or about living in New York. I don't know what I'll do.
I mean, it'll be about that time, I'm assuming, but not.
It's just to be
necessarily
about that time, but I hope there's not like a dumb pun where I'm like New York Minute or like Andie Mania. I just hope that I'm not in that emotional space of resorting to a pun once again when I make my next album.
We support that, and we're here for you. Don't worry.
I think that's dubious support because you like dumb things.
That's true. That is true. We are supportive, but not necessarily invested in it, because either way works out for us, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. Okay, so we know you've had some good ideas, but that's not what we're here for. We would love to hear some bad ideas that you've had.
Oh, sure. Well, I alluded to it a little bit earlier, but I just thought I would tell you about the worst decision I've ever made, which was as a sober person.
I like it casually, like, oh, I was just thinking, let's go with the worst decision I've ever made. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah. It's just like the reason it was the worst decision I ever made is because it was so stupid. Like I was so fucking dumb. I can't believe how dumb I was. Like it was in the morning. It was like 7 a.m, so I'll give it that. Like,
yeah, that's a tough time to make decisions for sure.
Yeah, like I had, and so like I'm a dog owner, like we covered a little bit before the show. I've got a 2-year-old husky chow pit bull poodle shepherd. Her name's Sadie, and she's like a 50-pound dog. I'd never raised a puppy before. Oops, there's my thumb again.
It's okay.
I'd never raised a puppy before, and so I just like. Okay, here's the reason I got the puppy, and I love her, and I even have a tattoo of her. So like,
oh, nice.
No regrets. So like I'm her mom.
Can't
like
we're take it back now. Yeah,
bonded forever. Yeah. But they say that when you go sober, you should not make any huge decisions for like a year. And I am such a contrarian that like. I was like, I'm going to make the biggest decisions ever right now. Like, I don't know, like, it's like a mania. Cause like when I quit drinking, I didn't realize that I was like hiding a mania under all that alcohol. And so I just like have like these urges, like woman who's wanting to be pregnant really badly gets a baby urge. And I just had this like crazy puppy urge. And so I got her within like 24 hours of thinking about it. And
How long had you been sober at that time?
about 100 days.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
it wasn't
So
like a week, but it still wasn't enough to kind of be
I'd
stabilized.
say 100 days is when you're like, for me, that was when I was operating at my most manic state I've ever been in, because it's like enough time for all of the alcohol to have like burnt out of your DNA or whatever. I'm such a
Science.
doctor.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, I'm a scientist. Um, all the vapors had like, you know, gotten out of me. And so I was like operating like a long haul trucker on a mountain pass with no brakes, where it's just like, fucking yeah, I
We're
was
going.
obnoxious. We're going fast. And so I got my puppy and I love her and she's the best, but she's also a little bit reactive. And I didn't have the skills
Ah.
or the understanding of reactivity in dogs to really like conquer it, but I just knew that she hated the dog that lives below us. There's like a little Chihuahua slash terrier, and he's black, and he looks kind of like a tiny werewolf. He's pretty
Okay.
cute. I like him. His name's Chonk. He hates my dog. My dog hates him. They literally want to kill each other.
Oh.
And I live in a condo, and I live directly above this lady. And so one morning, I was playing with my dog and I was watching my next door neighbor's dog. And that dog who lives next door to me is best friends with my dog.
Okay.
And it was like 7 a.m. and I was like feeling lazy. And I'm like, oh, instead of taking the dogs around the block, I'm just going to run them in the front yard and they can run with each other in the front yard of this shared space and it'll be awesome. And this is fully knowing that my downstairs neighbor, whose dog hates my dog, could walk outside in any second. And
Could
that's
come outside.
exactly,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. And like, and when I say fully knowing, like, I mean, I knew that that could happen, but I didn't think about it actually happening, of course. Like, that's where, like, I think about how I must have looked. Like, I can imagine how I must have looked. Like, I knew that our dogs hated each other, but I was still like, oh, what could go wrong? I was just being a fucking idiot.
It does seem
Truly,
like knowing that you're like, oh, I'll just go right in front of where this dog could be. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, if you took it that way, then yeah, obviously you didn't necessarily mean it that way, but could be seen
Mm-hmm.
that way.
Yeah, it was so profoundly stupid of me. Like, so consequences happened, of course, because otherwise this wouldn't be interesting. But like the lady comes out with her dog. I can hear the dog barking right away. And
Mhm.
that's the reason my dog hates this dog, is because this dog barks all goddamn day. All it does is yipe, 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 yipe. I can hear it right now. And my dog
He's like, you're talking about me.
Yeah, like I can hear him and he's below me, and it's like all he does is just fucking bark all day. Well, I don't know what he's doing, but he's not having a great time. And my dog is like, "Shut up! I can hear you all day." You know, like she's coming at it like she's too aggressive, but she's
Yeah.
got a point, is what I'm gonna say. That, but anyway, dog stopped playing. Sadie lunges for this other dog, Chonk, and fucking picks him up by his neck and shakes him. And that was just horrific. Like my dog tried to kill another dog. Like I just watched
Oh
it happen.
gosh.
And like I picked Sadie up and drug her upstairs. And then I went downstairs and it turned out that Chonk got out of his harness and was on the loose.
Oh.
And now I had to go find this fucking dog.
Oh shit.
Um and so um it's like this is probably the worst position I've ever put myself in.
Mm.
And I don't like having suspense. I just want to resolve everything. The dog's okay. Everything's fine. I can hear him barking below me right now.
That's
But
true. I mean, we did know the end of the story that at
yeah.
least Chunk survives, but
Yeah. And I love animals so much. I don't even want to use his possible mortality as like a hook to get people interested in this story. Like he's
Right.
fine. Yeah. But so what it meant is that like his owner, who is an older lady, like I'd say she's like comfortably in her 60s, and she has a walking disability.
Mm.
She's going as fast as she can around the block one way, and I'm going as fast as I can around the block the other way. And for like 30 or 40 minutes, I'm running through this neighborhood, losing hope with every second. And my inner monologue is like, Andie, you just killed the dog and you love dogs. And this is what you did. You killed a dog. This is probably what it feels like to get a DUI. Andie, you basically gave yourself a DUI while you're sober, and this fucking dog is dead, and it's your fault. And you love dogs. That was the circular logic running through my head the
Mm-hmm.
whole time. And about 45 minutes into it, another neighbor found the dog and he put the dog in my arms. And Stephanie, the neighbor who I hurt her dog, the dog's mom, didn't know that someone else put the dog in my arms. So I got all the credit for finding the
You're like,
dog.
I found her. Don't worry.
I was like,
It's
look what
okay.
I found. Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah. So I've never told her that last part.
Well, I don't blame you because if that's what happened, you got to be like, I have a little bit of a hero part at the end of the story because
Oh, it's like every single moment that I'm not someone who's killed a dog is the best moment of my life.
that's great. So,
Yeah.
bad decision in the beginning, but now you can be grateful that you didn't kill the dog.
Yeah, every single moment. Like, I'm not even kidding. Because, like, I don't even want to say the word awkward to describe how awful it would be if every morning I'm walking my dog in front of this lady whose dog I killed. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus
I mean,
Christ.
that's like one time I was leaving this is not the same, but I've one time we were leaving a bar in Capitol Hill in Seattle. I was in college at the time and I lived kind of right around the corner and we got like the street hot dogs, And this
It's
homeless
got
guy.
dogs, so it's a little bit
There you
similar,
go.
your
It's perfect.
story.
This is what it
Yeah.
reminded me. A person who was asking for money or food or whatever was coming this way, and my friend just like kind of goes, like cheers as his hot dog to this unhoused person who was looking for like some food or something, and he just goes yeah and just keeps walking like he just is like, here, this food,
Oh,
this is what you're looking for, okay, and then just like he wasn't being a dick about it, but he just like was kind of saying like, nope, I'm this is mine, I guess, I don't know, but it was like, okay, that feels like rubbing it in your face a little bit.
oh man. Oh, what a situation.
I mean, that would be you're walking Sadie,
Yeah.
your alive dog, in front of the lady who now doesn't have a dog. But luckily, that's not the
hmm
situation. But yes, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. The only difference is that your friend didn't kill the homeless guy's food and
No,
eat it in front of him.
that's true.
So it's
Yeah.
almost a perfect metaphor.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm deeply sorry to saying homeless instead of unhoused. I know that had a major
Well,
impact
I
on
said
the.
homeless first, and I still, it's a newer one for me that I'm still trying to be correct
Yeah,
on. Yeah.
it's the new one that we got to be careful about, and I
Yeah.
shouldn't be a baby boomer about it.
None of us should be baby boomers.
No, they shouldn't be
Oh
either.
my gosh. Okay, so Chunk doesn't die really is that might be the
Yeah,
title of
Chuck's
this.
good. He's barking to this day.
Okay. Well, that's great. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm not, I don't like the concept, but I am interested in the concept of this dry drunk thing where you're still not maybe
A good
firing on
human.
all I was gonna say firing on all cylinders, but yes, I suppose you could be a bad person. However, I don't think, which is, I mean, that is a thing, like if we're being really realistic about it, is that, let's say you have an abusive alcoholic partner and they stop drinking and then it turns out they're just abusive. Like it's not, like that's not, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, damn it. I was hoping it was that, but that's just you like that. Oh, that seems stressful. So
Yeah.
at least, but the thing is here, you weren't like, it doesn't feel like it was intentional of you being like, I'm going to go out front on purpose. He was like, hey,
Mhm.
this is easier. Didn't really think about it.
Yeah, it was
Maybe.
laziness. You know what? It
Yeah,
was
sure.
the joy of being lazy, short-circuiting all other options.
Yeah, that's fine. I get it. I've done that
Yeah.
many times.
Thank
And
you. This is a safe
yeah,
space for,
yes, it
thank you.
is. Well, this is what happens too. People will tell me they're bad ideas, and then I try to like, I'm supportive at least.
That's a lot to carry.
It is, yeah. I don't, whatever. You're doing just fine.
Ah,
Um,
thanks.
yeah, and then okay, so this dry drunk thing though, I really am interested in that because I had never heard that before.
Oh,
And
okay.
so that's, I mean, I get it. They do
Well,
talk about like a transition period of like now you're sober and things aren't going to be great right away or whatever. But
mhm.
the decision making still being questionable. I don't think I had ever like put that together.
Yeah. Well, because it's like I've learned a lot about my brain lately. And the thing is that our brains are so lazy that they just want to like put us in patterns. The brain wants to put us in a pattern because that way you have less to think about, you have less to contemplate, less to calculate. And for me, drinking just became like a never-ending pattern. And so I was on that specific trail and I wore it down really good. And then when I went sober, it was kind of like I decided to go off trail and cut my own trail and do a little bit of trailblazing and like how do I land this fucking metaphor? Hold on. Anyway, it was chaos for my brain to deal with because it's like, oh, we used to always go this way, now we're
Yeah, yeah,
going
yeah,
this way.
yeah.
And so while I'm getting this trail ready, I guess, I stepped on a spider and it bit me.
Okay,
That's a perfect metaphor there,
that
very
makes sense.
relatable.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because
So like,
well, yeah, it's the if the trail hasn't been walked on at all, you don't know what's gonna happen
you
that
don't know
way.
what's
So
gonna
yeah.
happen there. There could be
Hmm.
a tiger in that there trail.
Or a spider. I like that you stepped on the spider and then it bit you. Like I don't know exactly how that works out, but
Yeah.
that's okay.
It was his last act. It was like it was like a Quentin Tarantino movie.
On the way out, came back. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
I'll
Okay.
take you motherfuckers down with me. Yeah.
Do you feel like that got better as the sobriety went on? Like do you feel like the
The
pathway
decision
and the
making?
in the decision
Yeah.
making has it does get better eventually?
Oh, definitely. Like,
Okay.
well, like the only way I did alcoholism without a program or getting out of alcoholism without a
Oh, I
program. And
see. Yeah, yeah.
I support anyone's path to not drinking, but a program doesn't work for me at all because I am too punk rock for that. And
You're hacking your own trail here, You're
I gotta plow my own trail, baby. Um
plow. Yeah, such a great word. Okay.
I gotta plow that trail.
Plow that trail.
Um so the way that I've been able to supplement it and make it like work for me is that I realize that addiction is in a sense a form of obsession. And like comedy is one way to deal with obsession, right? Like go out to a
Mm.
mic, say the same fucking words over and over again
Over and
for
over again.
years
Yeah.
at a time. Yeah.
Yep.
That's a great way to deal with obsession. But then like I need to come up with other obsessions too to supplement the fact that alcohol, my biggest obsession, was no longer in the picture. And
Yeah.
so my dog is one of those obsessions. Hiking became an obsession. Now
Okay.
I'm doing a ton of yoga. I'm doing like
Oh,
five or
sweet.
six yoga sessions a week right now.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's
That's
like
great. So yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to take my addictive personality and just kind of go nuts like I'm a Swiftie
Just like
on stuff that isn't
just
Taylor
aim it
Swift.
towards something else. Yeah. Something
Yeah,
more
yeah,
I don't want to say productive,
productive.
but something more healthy, I suppose. Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah. Productive's fine. Cause like
Okay.
I woke up sober and I was like, I've wasted 20 years of my life. I have to cram every single fucking thing in the world into the rest of my life, or else
Got
I'll
it.
be a loser forever.
I
And
see.
that's not a good way to do it. That's mania. That's the drive of mania right there.
Yeah,
So now that I'm like doing a lot of yoga, I'm actually becoming a calmer human being deep down inside.
that's
So
great.
it's
That's
cool.
what they say about
Yeah.
yoga, you know?
Yeah. Turns out
Uh,
diet and exercise were good for you the whole time.
it is like you're really trying to figure out a different way to do all this stuff, and then at the end you're like, damn it was what they said before. Shit.
Fucking assholes.
Can't be that punk rock about it. So, um, oh my gosh. Okay, well fantastic. I learned a lot, and we're happy that no dead dogs.
No
And you
dead dog.
got out of the situation. You know, semi
I want
unscathed.
I want to know your opinion, and then I'll come up with my own opinion.
Okay.
What decision was worse? Was it me letting my um reactive dog unleashed in front of a dog it hates, or was it your friend saluting a homeless man with a hot dog?
Right. Which
Which
one is worse?
I'm gonna say me.
Because I don't think probably you because because I don't think either of you had a bad intention actually. Like I don't think you were actually being like this is going to hurt this other person. You know, I think it was just
Mhm.
it was a which is I won't say his name, but this friend was intoxicated at the time and has now been sober for a long time. So maybe that
Hey,
was part of it.
buddy, tell him I said
There,
hi.
I will. Um, so I don't think either of you had bad intentions, but if the decision does fully go through with its consequence, I think your consequence would be worse, and that would be the dead dog, right? Like I don't know. We
The
would have
dead
gotten
dog
maybe
is worse
yelled
than a
at by
homeless
the
person's hurt
yeah
feelings. Yeah.
yeah exactly yes that's why. But
Okay.
what do
Fair.
you
Very
think?
fair. I agree 1,000%. I could not agree
Okay.
more.
Well, congratulations. You won this game between bad choices that we just made up. Okay. Well,
Excellent.
thank you. Thank you so much for doing the podcast. This was great. Where can people find you if they want to follow you or come see you or find your album?
My album's available on all the downloading sites, and you just got to search for my name, Andie Main, which is ANDIEMAIN. And I have a new podcast out too that's called Recovering with Andie Main, and it's about the act of recovery. So we just talk to people about whatever it is that they're dealing with and how they came out of it.
Oh, that
Um,
sounds so interesting. I've already
so it's a
learned so
good,
much just talking about it today. So I'm going to tune
yeah.
in.
Yeah, I'm gonna become a proto guru, and I'm hoping to start a cult that would be destructive enough to get like a 6-part Netflix documentary about
Yeah.
it.
Oh, which is my
Yeah.
favorite. So good. I really support you in that idea.
Oh, thanks. Do you want to join it?
Yeah. See, you've done yoga now all of a sudden, and now you're going to be a cult leader. So there you go. It's good for
Yeah,
you.
it went from, it's a really quick, it's like the opposite of the school to prison pipeline. It's recovery, yoga, cult leader.
Cult leader. Yeah, it does feel. That actually feels pretty accurate. Oh, God. Okay.
Dude, it's so fucking accurate. Like, I have so many thoughts in my head where I'm like, shut the fuck up. You're becoming a cult leader. I think about energy sometimes. It's awful.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, my podcast, Recovering with Andie Main, and then I'm going to be moving to New York like we announced. And so I guess you can find me on the mean streets of Brooklyn looking for pizza and
There
yoga
you go.
studios. And my Instagram is probably the best social media outlet that I'm active on. And that's Andie Main. Anything you want to find me on, just search my name, Andie Main. There's no other Andie Mains out there except for a guy who is a kickboxer, but
Right.
he spells his name different, so it's
Well, and I
okay.
feel like they'll be able to see that it's not you if they accidentally stumble
Not
on his
in
page.
a couple of years, though. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. After all this yoga, we'll see. Um, well, perfect. Thank you so much. Make sure you go and follow
Thank
Andie
you.
and check out the new podcast. And if you're watching us on YouTube, you can subscribe here or join YouTube memberships if you want these episodes early with no ads. Or if you're listening, rate, review, subscribe, do all that stuff. But right now, you can just keep watching dumb pitches. You're weird. Yes.